What is up, YouTube? Today I wanted to make a video going over how strong I feel Yami will be in the final arc of Black Clover and how he's going to gain the strength to become just as strong as a supreme ranked devil due to him now having a devil heart on top of power coming directly from Lucifugus himself. We first get insight into this from Gray in chapter 323 when she mentions that Yami seems to have a heart very similar to Asta and that his magic power has begun to continuously rise, but does this exactly mean that he's been possessed by a devil? I think it's possible that Yami isn't necessarily becoming a host, but instead feeding off of Lucifugus's magic himself, which is likely the progenitor of all dark type magic in the series. When we first see Noct trying to manifest Lucifugus and obtain his power, we also see that when Lucifugus manifests and uses magic, it looks very similar to what we just all assume is dark magic, and while using this he kills Morgan. I think that it's highly likely that Lucifugus is the original dark magic user, and all variants of dark magic like Yami's magic and even Noct's shadow magic may be derived from him or some form of his own magic that's basically giving power to their magic whenever they use it. Dorothy mentions to Noelle that all cursed magic in the world of Black Clover is derived from Magicula, and I feel like this can definitely be applied to the situation of the magic being used by Yami and Noct. It would make a lot of sense considering whenever they fight, they have almost perfect synergy and all of their moves seemingly flow together in a perfect fashion, and it could definitely be just the fact that they were basically coming from the same source of power and that their power is just so similar. That is the reason why they're able to fight very well together. We also have to remember that Yami spent a significant portion of time being the literal catalyst to opening the gates of the underworld, the Tree of Qlipoth, and I think it's safe to say that while this was happening, maybe his magic resonated with Lucifugus, and we definitely know that Lucifugus wasn't in the actual world. He never got to manifest, and he was definitely somewhere in the underworld. We also know that Lucifugus didn't manifest when Noct tried to summon him, since he didn't really fully come into the world. He basically just flexed his magic a bit and killed Morgan and all of the other members of House Foss, so he was definitely down there. So I think it is likely that while Yami was basically being the catalyst, he definitely probably maybe encountered Lucifugus's magic somehow in some way, and that kind of tapped into his own. Basically meaning that while Yami was basically in the limbo of the underworld and being the charger, I guess you could say, of opening up the gate, he most likely tapped into the power source of Lucifugus that was there and leached off of some of his power, and that allowed him to somehow gain a thing similar to a devil heart, kind of how Xenon made the deal with Beelzebub to get his heart, only in this case he passively gained it while he was connected to the underworld instead of having to make a deal to gain the heart. Chapter 324 of the series, while they were fighting Lucifero, Yami states that he can feel himself getting stronger for some reason, and I definitely feel that this is due to him continuing to resonate and gain strength from his new devil heart. It also adds cadence to the fact that Lucifugus is the progenitor of all dark type magic. As you can see, Yami and Noct, like I was saying, two users of the very similar magic types, have very good compatibility in terms of magic and fighting together, and we see this on full display when they were able to use attacks such as Children's Playground, perfectly molding their two different types of magic together, and it was seemingly too easy for them to fight together and resonate with each other during the fight. And I definitely think this adds more proof onto the fact that this could just be the fact that their magic is coming from the same source, and this makes it so that whenever they fight, it's almost as if they're fighting with each other's magic, I guess you could say, and this is making them fight very well together. I feel like the most important aspect of this, and the craziest part, is that Yami is going to be able to use the full force of the heart's power, not only parts of it like the Dark Triad had to, where they had to go to different percentages of the power instead of fully being able to use it. Essentially, Yami isn't really going to be a host of Lucifugus, as he's going to be his own devil and taking on the power he would have otherwise had to form a contract to get. This can possibly give him the power to, on his own, have the strength of a supreme ranked devil at his disposal without forming a contract, gaining the heart, or needing the gates of the underworld to be open. He's going to be his own devil host, I guess you could say. He just has the powers of a devil without having to form any contracts or gain any of the negative side effects of becoming a host. It's very insane to consider this, because if you think about it, look at how Dante was fighting with Lucifero as his host. Look at how Dante at 70%, at 50%, at all his percentages, even at his 100% awakened form when he fought against Magna, that didn't compare at all compared to the actual manifestation of Lucifero, and that Lucifero was only at 50%. So imagine a Yami that is able to do something very similar, where instead of, only leeching off of parts of the original devil that he's leeching off of or making a contract with, he is going to gain the full power of that devil, the same way Lucifer was able to manifest himself seemingly into the world at only 50% and was basically making it so that nobody could defeat him. Imagine a Yami with that type of power coming from Lucifugus himself, who is a very high-ranking devil. We know this, we know the power that he uses, and Lucifugus just manifesting a tiny bit of himself into the world was able to basically annihilate the entire House of Faust. So imagine a Yami that is able to be very comparable to this Lucifugus, fully manifest his powers into the world, and able to fight using that same power. Yami at the end of the story is going to be a monster. I think it's very fair to say right here and right now that at the end of the story, in the final arc of Black Clover, Yami is going to be at his most powerful throughout the series due to the fact that he now has access to the origins of his own dark magic, and by using that power, he will be able to boost his own magic to levels he's never been able to compare to throughout the entire series. I expect him to not only have his original abilities exponentially increased in power, he's likely going to have many new abilities that he's able to tap into now that he's using the origins of his own power from his access to his new Devil Heart. This on top of the fact that he was already able to use his dark magic very well in the series. He was very adept at using it. This put together with the fact that he's going to gain new power, the new Devil Heart, and the abilities that stem from that means that I definitely think he's going to cement himself as on the level of a supreme ranked devil, the same type of devil that is going to be manifesting at the end of the story, Lucifero. We're going to see him be very comparable to that level of strength, and he's honestly, I'm going to say it now, he's going to be stronger than even, I think, Lucifugus whenever he manifests into the story. I think his own power, him gaining the power of Lucifugus basically from the Devil Heart, all of that put together will put him on a completely different level, and by the end of the fights, if he does go against Lucifugus, which I think he will, with Noct, so that Noct can maybe get revenge on the fact that it was him that killed his brother, he's going to be very, very strong during that fight, and I think it's going to be a very cool fight, and Yami himself at the end of the story is going to be so powerful because of this. I think this about wraps up the video though. I think Yami is going to play a major role in the ending of Black Clover and the many fights that are yet to come. What do you guys think of the video though? Let me know if you agreed with the points I made or maybe have something you wanted to add to the discussion on Yami's strength going forwards in the series. I like discussing these topics with people in the comments. It's always very fun to see what different people in the community think about in terms of the power scaling or just different things throughout the series. So if you feel anything different or you feel something completely different will happen or you wanted to add something onto the conversation, definitely just tell me in the comments. And like the video if you liked it and subscribe, as it really does help me out. And you guys really killed it in the last Black Clover video I made. That video has a lot of love, a lot of likes, and I definitely do appreciate this, guys. I am looking at all the comments, I do see all the views, all the likes, and I do see everybody showing a lot of love and support, and I really do appreciate that. And there's going to be a lot more Black Clover videos to come in the future, and honestly, when the final arc comes out or we start making chapters of that, I'm going to be going very, very heavy on Black Clover, as this is going to be a very important thing to me since I've been following Black Clover for many, many years now, and to see it basically ending is kind of sad to me, but I do know this final arc is going to be amazing. But like I was saying, let me know what you guys think, and I'm out. Peace.